It's been very hot here. It's 80 degrees in the shop right now and pouring down rain. Hurricanes here just off the coast. So occasionally you find one big rabbit hole and I just went down it and I think I'm at the bottom, but so this video is kind of messed up a bit. All I wanted to do was just check the grease in the headstock. Next thing I know, I'm working on making my own motor, gear, pulley, and so on. So you'll see some machining, but at the end I'll explain everything and where I am, and I know this project is going to go on for quite a few more weeks, so I'm waiting for other parts and things. So hope you enjoy. See you next Friday, I hope. I believe I mentioned in the last video that when I was done with the oil, no spill oil container, I was going to take the headstock off and load the inside with grease. I took it off and sure enough there's not a drop of grease in there. So greased it up big time and all the noises are gone. It's running nicely. But in the process, as usual, the timing belt is always loose. I don't know how it comes loose. It's got, I believe it has steel cord in it, so it doesn't stretch or wear like that. And the intermediate gear and the motor gear are both sloppy. They're Keyway slots wearing out. So this video is about the broaching tool. I bought this off of Amazon a long time ago so that I could eventually start making these gears. And so pulled it out. You go to buy these things, sets or whatever, and they're well over $100. It's a ridiculous price. I don't know why. So the first thing you'll see is making this little sleeve guy that goes in there for broaching. But the other thing is, all the sets come with this little metal L bracket and nobody tells you what it's for, why you use it. So I did put this in here and I put this guy on top of the vise with a gap and just hammered this down in. It worked, but it only went halfway. And then I realized that these things cannot cut a ton of material in one swipe. It took half the material off and then you use that L thing to put it down in there, or it goes in here to space it out further, so the next time it takes the rest of the depth of the cut. I used this as my little piece right now and it worked. So I'm full depth. I've got a Keyway, fits in there perfectly, so it's beautiful. So I'll show in this video I'm trying to make another one of the L things. I looked at the order and it came with it. I don't know where it is. I must have thrown it out. I don't understand why. I would have kept it in the tube with the brooch, but it's missing. So also I already opened the package up. I bought from the little machine shop a motor pulley, intermediate, and a new belt. So I have something here that I can measure, because I'm going to make these guys. I made this one a long time ago. Never finished it because I didn't have the broach made to do it. And I had, I guess, made a blank brass. So I'll be finishing these guys up. And I'll show, using the broach on this guy, how it works once I finish this angle piece here too. Next video I'll be doing, I'm still fighting with this outside threading tool. I talked to the manufacturer. They're trying to research it. Their system doesn't show this part at all. So they're supposed to be getting back to me. I pre-cut some material. I'm going to try making my own. I was thinking about buying one and then mill it down so it's small and fits in the machine, but I don't know where I'm going to go. Probably that. So this video, I'll probably do the voiceover like everybody is asking for here. So now I have a whole set of new parts, untouched, that I can measure, and I'll be making these probably in the next video, or either this one or this. I don't know which one I want to do yet. And I'll show, like I said, broaching this guy. So onward and upward, I'll show a little bit of this guy, and then probably I need to film doing this. Well, after making the oil thing, I did tear this whole thing apart. And yes, there was no oil inside the headstock on the gears, so that made it a lot quieter. But again, the timing belt was way loose. I don't know why it keeps coming loose on both machines. And the intermediate gear and the motor pulley are sloppy already. So I've got a bunch of little projects. This one, I'm trying to make a so to speak arbor for this thing. I got to do the slot in it so that I can do, shoot, now I'm gonna remember what it's called. I need to cut the groove in here for the keyway, and I've got the tool for it. But 1144, boy, I love this stuff. It just machines like nobody's business. Already using the new oil container, works great. And you kind of hear the gears in there making a lot of noise. Taking 5/1000 cut with my high-speed steel guide that I made. Finish comes out really nice. Why I love 1144, man. Chips are great. Everything's good. And I slow it down a little more. Yeah. Wait, too slow, huh? Yeah. Touchy knob. But, cool. So that takes 10,000 off each time. I think I had 50 to go. So now this is 20,000 coming off. Total. Probably should stop and calibrate this thing. Why I like the minus gauge pins. If it were plus, it wouldn't be going in. This is like a perfect fit. So on, zeros out, yeah, pretty much. 315, huh? 315, where am I at? 60, basically. So I got a little bit more to take off here, and why can't I think of what it does? Wage something? Sheesh. Alright, so I'll just kind of finish this up off camera and then bring you over to the mill where I'm going to cut the slot in here. Came out great, right on the money. I love it, you know, when things work. It's exactly where I want it. Is there a play? I can't even really tell. Broach. I couldn't even think of what I'm making this for until I pulled it out and it said broach on the container. Keyway broach. It's supposed to be 4mm, but it's 4.25. What is that anyway? In decimal. Turn this on. Right. Jink. 4.26. 0.128. Yeah, I don't have, because I only have a 4mm and it's 4, so I don't know. I've got a 2mm end mill in there right now. So I've already, my DRO is back online. Yay! So I already edge found and got on dead center. So, ooh, am I long enough to clear? Yeah, I can clear a lot here. Where is my new oil container? Here, yes, yay. Stool comes over here because I gotta sit and watch this. Probably gonna need the magnifying glass. I wish I could let you guys see this with this light on, but it just really messes things up. I'm looking in the camera going, yeah, I think you can see that pretty good. Oh, I can see it too nicely now. Okay, so this is going to be a long time because of this teeny little end mill. I could snap it off easily. So I got to make sure I go real slow. And alright, so I'm ready to go. And I don't want a lot of RPM on this thing. Okay, it's not cutting anything. Just barely take it. I need a little more RPM. I'm at 480, 540. I think that's cutting, huh? Yeah, it's making a mark. Alright. All the way down. Gotta be careful not to snap that off. What am I at? 182, huh? Oh yeah, it's cutting. There's junk coming up. So I gotta remember to go 182, go down. Oh, I should zero out Z. Zero, set, close, go down 2 thou, 1, 2. Oh, I forgot already what I said. Oh, that's looking pretty good, you know. 182 or something like that. 145. How much closer than that? Yeah, it was 182. 80, 81, 82. Alright. I should write that down, 182. Alright, so this is all I'm going to be doing here for quite a while. So, and then I'm going to get it wider so it fits this thing. And I'll be done. I also got to figure out what the depth is supposed to be. The depth should be, what? That's skinnier? Yeah, I think that is. This is 190. 210, yeah. So it's got to be deep enough. Yeah, it's got to be deep enough to go 210. Well, almost done with this project. I've got the little guy made. Not easy to make that out of this. I just realized too, it's like this stuff doesn't rust. There's scratches in it, so I don't know. I'll probably put oil on that anyway. Yeah, I just cut it off for a length, and I stuck this in the vise, put the piece on top of it, and kept just milling it down. Then once I was pretty close to trying to figure out how to do that, I measured what I had milled down and subtracted the 3 millimeters off of it. Got a parallel gauge, a square gauge block, put a magnet on it, stuck this up to the magnet so I knew it was flush with the gauge block, and then just clamp it in the vise and take it down so it fits. There's the guy. So it should work nicely, and I'll keep this one anyway in the tube. Why not? In case this, well, I'm gonna know soon here because I'm gonna try to do this, but curious thing is, I bought these, I said, so I know the actual size of everything. I know that's supposed to be 8 millimeter. This is an 8 millimeter, actually, on minus, so it's an undersize, and no way does it go in the hole. So I'm not sure what to do. This one goes in, right? No, this, yeah, it jams on the end, because it turns out the inside is funneled. It's smaller here than over there, and I can see it's crooked too. Goes in mine fine. Goes in this one, goes in this one. This guy, I think, yeah, it goes in this one without a problem. Right, it's a nice snug fit, perfect feeling. And I think this one it doesn't. Yeah, this one it jams on. That one, same thing. I've got this right on the money. It's 315 thou. This is what? So I guess I'm gonna phone the little machine shop and say you sent me a defective pulley. Maybe I'll get one for 3. This is 315. So there's 2 reamers I'm looking at on eBay. One is 315. One is 316. It's advertised as a slip fit. So I'm not sure which one to buy. I don't know what the actual shaft is on the motor. I don't want to take the whole lathe apart just to caliper the motor to see. So interesting. Where to go from here? I don't know. So like I said, yeah, the undersized one, well, actually the actual 315 fits. So I have a feeling I should just get the 315 reamer. This was 315, right? 314 and a half. No, there's 315. So is this zero out? No, it's off by a thou, but it still doesn't zero. That's interesting. Why? Used to. Where's the dirt? Now it's zeroed. Yeah, okay. So if I put it here, 314 and a half, yeah. 314 and a half. Yeah, I could use a mic. Let me get a mic and see what it says. Huh? It's always fun trying to hold this thing and do stuff, and for some reason, I mean, I always keep getting different readings every time I clamp down. There's 320, so this should go in there. Alright, 314.8, 314.8 and a half. It's coming up exactly the same. Good. Try it further down. 314.85. So this is what? 2/10 undersized. Not even that. 1.5 tenth. No, geez, it's even less than that. Yeah, no, that's 1.5 tenth undersized. So pretty cool. I guess I'm going to take a risk and buy the 315 reamer, because if it doesn't do things correctly, well, I don't know. This is a hard call, let me tell you. The more I investigate this, the deeper the rabbit hole becomes, let me tell you. First, this is a trapezoidal belt. Now, why they picked this particular odd belt, I have no idea. Pitch is weird, but whatever. It's trapezoidal because it's a quadrilateral, those are hard to say. It has two parallel sides, the top and the bottom. Now, next up, I've heard many people call this a gear. This is not a gear, it's a pulley. Even LMS calls them a pulley. Gears mesh with other gears. This does not mesh with any other gear. A belt rides on it, just like the old cars. There's a V-belt, and the belt rode on the pulley between two plates. Later on, cars went to the serpentine belt, which had more grooves in it to increase the friction, and the belt rode on the pulley in between two plates. Now, why this doesn't have a plate doesn't matter, whatever. This one does for it. It's a timing belt because it's got teeth on it and it doesn't slip. So, next up, okay, so this is a pulley and not a gear. Next up, I did a lot of looking. Oh yeah, some people even call this mod 1.5. Mod 1.375 is a better fit. So if this goes back in the drawer, it's a pulley, not a gear. Watching manufacturers, I went and looked at every single manufacturer of the pulleys, timing pulleys, that made them, so I know what they were talking about. They're talking about stress point. The stress point, which is what's taking the force, is at the base of each tooth. So, this pulley, I know I'm going to call one of them a gear by accident. This pulley is way too rounded, as you can see here. Therefore, and the grooves, if you want to call them, are way too deep. So the stress point for this belt is not down at the base. It's not touching it. because of the rounded points on it. The grooves on this thing is also too deep for this belt. So why does this pulley not wear out? Because there's a lot of play in here. I don't think you can see it, but there's quite a few thousands, 10, 15, 20,000 play. And there's a lot of teeth here. So each one of them is taking some of the stress, the forces of rotation. So this guy doesn't wear out. What happens is every time you start cutting something, there's an immediate jerk on force, and it's messing up the keyway. It widens it up, and it also stresses the actual hole, the bore, and the gear starts pivoting. The one that's on my second mill right now that I just built is already wobbling in this fashion. So dimensions, they're all over the place. I started doing a bunch of research. I'll release this print when I'm done with everything, but I figured out, finally got enough of stuff on the belt itself, that it's 1.5 by 70 teeth. It's 9.5 millimeters wide. Some places say this is 9 millimeters wide. I mean, you can easily measure it. 329.7 millimeter long circumference. The pitch is wacko. No table lists a 4.71 millimeter pitch, which is 0.185. So I don't know why they didn't pick a standard, industry standard metric belt beyond me. 70 teeth. Actually, I haven't counted it to see if it really is 70 teeth. I will sooner or later. This is also either an MXL or an XL type belt. So. But the dimensions, like I'm saying, you know, I did evidently create this print some time ago for the intermediate shaft. And it said, I measured 0.395. It's supposed to be 10 millimeter, which is 0.394. And the pulley that came off, no, a new pulley, this one is 0.392. This is 2 millimeters too tight. A 392 gauge pin fits in there really tight. Same way with the motor pulley. I'm seeing things all over the place. It's supposed to be an 8 millimeter. This one, which was on the machine, is 8 millimeter, 0.315. The new one is 0.308. So it's quite a few millimeters or thousandths smaller. Checking it with a gauge pin, you'd have to hammer this on the motor to get it on. Same way with this one's being too small, you have to hammer it on. And I do remember last time I had to replace this, I did have to whack it to get it put on. So tension, belt tension, that's a good one. I never knew what you're supposed to do, but you watch all these videos and they have a spring type. You know, the belt manufacturer tells you what the tension is. There's no belt manufacturer that I could find on this planet to talk about this belt, period, let alone tension. It's two types. One is some spring thing where you push and look at the deflection. The other is some sound guide where you actually tweak the belt and it does that kind of number. And you told it what the length is and so on, and so it looks at the frequency of that and tells you what the tension is, whether you got it right or not. That tells me right there this belt is not supposed to flop at all. If it flops, let me show you what happens. This one was really loose, and you can see the scallops that it wore into the actual teeth. Because the belt would come out of its slot, it would come up higher from its tension point, the stress point, and start scraping and wearing into the tooth. So, and like I said before, for some reason, every time I take my machine apart, this belt is way loose. And I don't know why. Maybe it's these guys loosening it up. The motor adjustment is really nasty, but the one key thing is with the motor to this intermediate gear, you can have parallel misalignment. So easy way to do is just put a straight edge on either gear or whatever, the belt, and make sure that your parallel misalignment's not off. You can also have angular misalignment. And I had angular misalignment on my first lathe a long time ago, so the belt wound up riding in and it was rubbing on the headstock face, completely disintegrated the belt over time. So I will be making the correct gears, pulleys. See, I said I knew I would do it. The correct pulleys. I still need to figure out some more about diameters. I did realize that the pulley needs to have a 25-degree angle to it. So I'm 5 degrees off with my 60 flywheel. I'm just going to run with that. I don't want to really make another one. Nobody makes these and sells a single cutter for a timing gear. Everybody has to make your own fly cutter. There are hobs that do it, but I can't use a hob on my mini mill, so I could angle the spin indexer so that the hob wouldn't be going forward. It would just cut one. No, it still wouldn't work. Oh well. So I'm still working on this, and there's a lot of dimension problems, and I'm trying to nail down what everything it should be and what's the correct pulley for this belt. So your other option too is you can go, and it's a lot of money, but you can buy, there is listings, and I wrote it on the back here. Yeah, there's a Gates belt that you can get off the shelf pitch. You can go buy the pulleys correct for the belt and off and running. And a number of people have done that. I've seen that on YouTube videos.